Classic. You kick us off?
Yeah. Good morning.
Morning.
Welcome to the official first episode of our podcast.
100%.
My name is CJ Dumeni, and my co-host is Mr.
Reece Meyer.
Yeah. And we're excited to do this podcast. I mean, we've been dropping some snippets.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, guys, bring the podcast. So we're like, come on,
Right.
we have to kind of do this, you know?
Yeah. Full force. We did have to flip from portrait to landscape.
Obviously, yeah, the portrait was just to kind of like get the people intrigued, you
You
know?
know, a little bit of teasers here and
Get
there.
the social media people talking about it.
Exactly. Are we going to drop the name?
Yeah, please drop the name, Reece. Give us some context
So,
why we're doing this.
Name's always pretty difficult. I mean, coming up with a podcast name, how we're going to structure it, what is it going to stand for, the longevity of it. So we came up with the concept of IMPPACT. I-M-PPACT stands for I am, and that will be speaking to the people that we're going to be having on as guests at a later stage, who they are, their story, etc. And then PPACT stands for people, platform, and culture. So really unpacking the different people that we have in our communities, really unpacking what they're doing from a business side, from a creator, and from a creative side. And then platform, obviously talking about new platforms that's coming up right now. What are we using within our lives? How are we seeing businesses use it and leverage it as well? And then culture as well, which is a big thing, which actually shapes a lot of what we're speaking about in today's day and world. So
Absolutely.
yeah, that's IMPPACT. That's us. So we look forward to bringing you some new tech, some new updates, some business updates, some culture shifts, and a little bit of watches here and there with some F1 as well.
Yeah. So Reece and I are marketers at heart from the beginning. We got into tech and so on. I think it would be good for you guys to get some context about Reece's experience and my experience. But the idea of this podcast is just to show you two young entrepreneurs that are trying to make it in 2025, right?
For sure.
And with context to what regarding marketing, business, technology, all the tools you actually really need to build some kind of digitally focused company.
100%.
We both have had our successes and obviously our failures as well. So it's like we're bringing you into our discussions that we would have on a regular Saturday or Monday or whenever, so that you can have context about what we're doing, what we're focused on, what we're seeing, because I think we might have access that some other people wouldn't. Especially someone like you in the agency world. So why don't we kick off with you saying a bit of your background, what you're doing right now, and what's exciting?
So I actually have a tech background. Started at Vega first, dropped out, got funding to build a mobile app. That was the condition. Waiting to build a mobile app, trended number one in the Play Store, number one in the App Store. And that's actually where we connected from a tech space. And then from there, COVID hit. We service a large section of the retailers, food, drinks, retail, and entertainment sector. And then COVID hit, and we had to really restructure. Went to Dubai, saw how they're doing things over there. Then pivoted into the tech space, online e-commerce. From there, pivoted into content creation as well as working with different creators. And that's how we ended up right here, right now with Ace Labs. And then Ace Labs obviously invested into a variety of different businesses as well. So quite well versed across the tech side as well as the brand side and the marketing side.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So my background's pretty similar as well. Went to AAA school of advertising, marketing school.
Low-key competitors, eh? Vega and AAA.
Low-key. Vega and AAA were beefing at a point. Then since there, in university, I was doing all right, but I wasn't like the best student, but I think I practically am actually really good. So I won this international marketing competition for L'Oreal, and we went to Paris and presented our ideas over there, and they loved it. And I started working for L'Oreal in Johannesburg for some time. Quit L'Oreal because I had this crazy idea of an app. You know, I don't know, as kids, you just have this idea of an app. I've never done an app like that. At that point, I didn't even know what it took to build an app. But anyway, I quit L'Oreal to launch an app. It was called Chomi. It was supposed to help students like get extra cash by doing freelance tasks. A complete failure. Launched it. We had 300 students registered. Launched it, and nobody came. Like not a single Chomi was hired.
Sure.
Then I kind of packed my bags, went back to Namibia for a bit, worked for some agencies. But the lessons I learned from the first Chomi helped me create something that actually worked, which is Chomi Bites, which is Namibia's first food delivery app. I ran that for 3 years, did really well. I was number one in the App Store as well. And then pivoted from there again to work with a company called Yango. We launched Namibia's first version of Uber. That's number one in the market right now, doing really well.
That's still doing quite well at the moment.
It's still flying. I didn't have equity or anything in that company. I was the general manager, and I built the team and launched it, so it was cool.
Beautiful.
Then since then left Namibia to travel the world and work on tech and work on my company. It's called now the Connect Group. So we just basically help companies that are profitable but stuck. We help them attract new people.
Right.
Either attract new customers, new partners, new talent. I think that's anybody that's in a business. You're in the business of people. So
Right.
as the Connect, that's
It's
just what I
such a
do.
big thing. I mean, a lot of people know you as the Connect, like connecting people with each other. And I feel like that's such an important space, such an important role to fill. And what we see right now is, yes, we're having a big shift towards tech, but at the end of the day, we still need people to facilitate and use the tech.
Absolutely.
So how are you finding that right now? Are you finding that people are actually using tech to enhance, or are you finding that people are using a lot of tech as a crutch?
Man, tech makes it hard to connect because it makes it so easy to kind of just get a quick dopamine hit in terms of like sending a message or being on Instagram and not having surface level stuff is easy access, because I mean, being able to build a real relationship with someone, you have to put in effort.
Yeah.
And we're getting to the point where we're just late. We don't want to put in any types of effort. But I do think things are coming full circle.
Okay.
I think now people are starting to value, and we spoke about this a little bit, but I think people are now starting to value real in-person connection, communities, events, those types of things.
For sure.
So for me now, being the Connect, I'm also trying to figure out, and I had to kind of structure things in a way where I'm learning to be more creative in the spaces and how I connect with people and where I want to be, right?
For sure.
And for example, I'll give you an example. I've noticed that it's easier to connect with people based on interest than any other thing.
Okay.
And when I say interest, it's the same thing. For example, we're both Formula One fans, right? And if I was walking into a space where I wanted to build business relationships with people, I would specifically go to something like a Formula One event because, or spaces where my interests are valued, right? Because I know that I can spark a conversation with someone,
right?
And that conversation would resonate rather than we both work in marketing. You know, how many people do you meet where you're like, oh yeah, I work in marketing, cool.
What happens next?
It's like, but if we start chatting about Formula One, we can speak for 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And I've noticed the same thing about watches. So my ethos completely is building connections based on interest. I think after AI and everything, and when work, if everyone's satisfied with work, life, all those things go away, I think our interests will stay. And I think that's the one like golden thread that will help people stay connected and so on. So that's what I'm kind of seeing.
For sure.
That answers the question.
No, that's pretty fascinating, because when you look at it, I mean, we're more connected now than ever before.
Absolutely.
Right? But I still feel, even though we're more connected, we're so disconnected.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh no, I only see it because it's on your socials, and if you didn't post it, didn't happen.
Yeah.
So now I almost see that when some people have to go into rooms, they almost feel awkward because there's nothing to hide behind. I actually want to run an experiment. Like, let's put a couple of random strangers in a room together and take their phones away.
Let's see what happens.
I genuinely think that some people would struggle.
I think so too. I think so. And I think it's a muscle you have to build, right?
Right.
I think back in the day when we were kids, we didn't have phones, and we got used to it. But
Yeah.
now I'm happy to see that I see a trend going the other way.
Okay.
I think people are trying to actively, like, I'm getting to a point where I'm starting to dislike screens, bro. Like,
Right.
I'm almost building resentment towards my phone. Really, like,
Hectic.
I'm getting to the point where I'm like, damn, this thing is taking so much of my time. And
Are you like
much of my
actively
attention.
tracking screen time?
I am, and my
Okay.
screen time is dropping.
Nice.
But
What are you on at the moment?
let me have a look. Why not? You know.
I
Then
know,
you
right?
can also have a look at yours. Let's see what.
Let's see if I went up
what your
last week
screen
or
time
not.
is. Let me have a look what your screen time is. Let's see. We're looking for average, right?
Yeah.
What are we looking at?
Where's mine?
We're gonna look at week or day. Daily average is 2 hours.
Okay, no, you're definitely better than mine.
I think.
Mine's at 3 hours, 12 minutes.
Yeah, 2 hours.
But
Not too bad.
no, not too
I
bad.
know people that have 15.
Yeah, I think I'm just aware of what I'm doing with those 3 hours and 12 minutes on the device.
Yeah.
So for the majority of the time, I think for a more holistic approach, I need to look at my laptop time and my device, my actual phone. But for the most part, I think I'm on my laptop more.
Yeah, but I mean, with regards to the kind of business that you run, you have to be on your laptop.
Yeah.
But actually, question for you: since being able to start so many different types of businesses, how did you fall onto an agency? And like, I want to, because I mean, you must have picked it for a reason, because there's certain things that there's certain opportunities that you'll go into and you just know they won't work.
Yeah.
How did you know the agency would work? And like, what did you see there that was interesting?
Could kind of see the shift from when I was in Dubai, the shift in the content creation space, and then also looking at why certain brands were selecting content creators at that time or pushing into the content, the creator economy space rather. And then I looked at that and I was like, okay, what are you trying to achieve? And I pulled it back and dialed it back and dialed it back again, and essentially reverse engineer that they were trying to get attention.
Yeah.
Right. Once they had the attention, I had to look at, okay, cool, what's the next metric they then judge? They then look at retention. So then from retention, what are they able to do? They're able to then hyper-target based on interest, get the attention, make sure they retain them in that session or in that space or in that vertical, and then from there, convert them to revenue.
Okay.
So again, I looked at that as a formula. I was like, okay, cool, I can see this happening. I can see it happening internationally. And generally what will happen is it will happen internationally and it will filter down. So you'll get it happening in the States and then it will go over to the UAE, and then from the UAE, it will filter down into
your market.
Exactly. So seeing what they were doing over there, I was like, okay, cool. There's big money, there's big investment going into this, into the creative economy. There's big investment going into the space, and brands are now building businesses and entrepreneurs building businesses around other creators as the face of it.
Yeah.
Which, because they've got an audience, they've got a connected audience, they've got an authentic community that they can then connect with and then sell through.
Yeah.
So from an agency side, I just think there's so many different legs, there's so many different verticals that we can unpack. And as we're going along, we're unpacking that based on how much attention we have and how we're actually able to increase that attention into retention and then build out different business models because we have a use case.
Correct.
So it's not just about, okay, cool, we can make money off of this, or we can make money off of the service, particularly whether it be TVCs, production, data analysts, looking at market segments, how to go to market, creator campaigns, interactive amplification, paid media strategies. Those are all just inherently as a result of
building an audience, right?
Exactly.
An audience that you can retarget and remonetize in multiple different ways.
For sure. And I think we're like in a very interesting time right now because the world was going very, very quantitative and everything was numbers driven. But now we're at a point where everything is so saturated that you start looking at the quality over the quantity.
Okay. Where do you see signs of that? How are you seeing this very clearly? Like, clearly people are looking for quality over quantity.
So whenever something new comes out, generally what will happen is people won't be well versed in it because and they generally will take a while to actually learn about the mechanics of how this thing works.
Okay.
So when social rolled out, people didn't understand, okay, cool. They thought 4 million followers, 5 million followers, 10 million followers. You inherently, if I give you a product, you'll be able to sell these t-shirts.
We'll sell, yeah.
Now we're learning over time. We've got enough quantitative data to prove that theory wrong. So now we are a little bit more informed, and now we understand, okay, cool. If I give you 100 t-shirts, you might not be able to sell that because you might have an audience and not a community.
Gotcha.
And they might not value what you say, but rather watch you for entertainment. So there's a trust barrier there then. So now we start educating ourselves and really start understanding how does this funnel work? What are certain key people used for in the space?
Got you.
From a creative economy perspective, you've got your nanos, your micros, your mid-tiers, your megas, your macros, your megas, and then on top of that, you've got your KOLs, your tastemakers, your industry leaders, all different categories, all different key points in which they can convert. And they play a different role across the board. So again, looking at that, for me, it was how do we move attention to retention, and then from that retention, how do we convert that into revenue?
Do you think the platforms are seeing that too? Can you see platforms changing towards to accommodate more quality, more in-depth community building kind of relationships?
I definitely see some of the brand managers and some of the marketing execs, they're starting to understand and clutch from a South African perspective. And generally you'll see this happen when they are gathering a lot of international data. And they're able to see, because the South African market's very, very, very harsh. You'll be humbled.
Really?
To roll out in the US compared to rolling out in South Africa, very different.
Why? What's happening?
We are a very diverse country. There's so many different niches, so many different groups of people, and to convert within those communities or within those segments, it's difficult.
So you have to speak to them the right way.
100%.
You have to find them in the place where they want to be spoken to, in the right tone and everything.
Exactly.
That's a challenge.
And it becomes very curated. So yes, you can have a blanket approach. It's not to say that it won't work, but will it work as effectively as creating a curated experience for a set group of people that can connect? It's the same thing like you find an interest and then you double down on that interest.
Correct.
So what we're seeing now is that brands are starting to understand that they need to segment their approach to roll out a single product or roll out a single service. You have to segment it and speak differently to each consumer base across the board.
Blasting the news everywhere is not gonna work, is it?
The spray and pray, we passed that phase.
Yeah, I agree. So while you were talking, another question came to mind. So obviously when you started the business, the agency, you saw that there was a problem, right? Because businesses are there to solve problems
For sure.
for people, ideally rich people, because I mean that's then you can then that's how you make like or an audience. People are basically willing to spend money to get the problem solved, right?
Exactly.
And in our case, it's companies,
Yeah.
because we service companies. So you clearly saw something that companies were doing wrong. There's something happening in South Africa, like you said, it's a hard market to get right.
Yeah.
There's something they were doing wrong, so it prompted you towards creating a business that helped them solve a specific problem. What was the problem that you saw all these companies were getting wrong?
That's an interesting one. I don't think there's a holistic
What sparked the
answer to
interest?
that.
Yeah.
But I do think that what I did identify very early was that there was a massive disconnect between the top and what was actually happening on the ground.
Okay.
So you'd have people sitting in boardrooms and have these meetings, etc., about what they're going to do, how they're going to spend 150, 200, 300 million,
Yeah.
but not know what's physically happening on the ground.
That's good.
And then they do these store visits or site visits, etc.,
Yeah.
and go there once a month or once every 3 months to get insight into what's happening. I was like, it's just not enough.
So what? Just for the audience, just in case they're not getting the connection.
Yeah.
What's wrong with not knowing what's happening on the ground?
Sure.
What goes wrong? What goes wrong?
A lot, because you're making assumptions based on what you think your consumer's doing, and there's no actual data to support that. So there's certain things. I mean, I'm gonna give you an example. If you go into Zara, right? You go into the Zara store during school holidays and go to the till section and watch. Just watch. You'll be fascinated to see what's happening. So previously, how did you go shop, right? When you were 13, 15 years old?
Yeah, we went with like my parents or
Right.
like an aunt or something like that. Yeah.
Okay. Right. Now you've got 11-year-olds,
No.
to like 15-year-olds shopping
By themselves.
independently, by themselves with their smartphone. They don't even have the card. The card is logged on the phone.
Yes,
Right. So they
yes,
just
yes.
double tap and tap.
Yeah.
Right. So they activate the card and boom.
Yeah.
So now you see, I mean, at 15, 13 years old, we weren't shopping fragrance.
No ways.
These kids are shopping fragrance, lip gloss. It's the full kit, top to
Interesting.
bottom. It's the accessories, etc. And then you look at how they're shopping. What card are they tapping? They've got their own black cards.
Oh,
Then you start to
we've-
understand, okay, cool,
crazy.
consumerism. And if you start to listen, you will hear, no, don't get that. I already ordered that online.
yeah.
Right? So now you're
Yeah.
understanding that an 11-year-old is shopping online and he's telling the other friends, like, don't get that, get this. And then firing open TikTok and they're showing them, no, you get this here and you get this there.
I got this here. I got that.
Exactly.
that.
So
You
it's
don't
a
need to get
whole
that.
different ball game if you start looking at how informed the consumer is now.
Yeah.
Where back in the day,
Yeah.
now
But,
we're-
we're like,
but it's a different ball game completely. So you have to know what's happening.
I see it.
And you only know that and you can see how the culture is shifting and moving once you start to watch and observe.
yeah.
So,
and I think the big thing, like what you're saying, is that when you don't know what's happening on the ground, you end up spending the money on the wrong things.
Exactly.
You end up marketing to running the wrong campaigns, marketing to the wrong people, and you aren't able to get like your return on investment. And I think that's essentially the problem between the disconnect, right?
For sure. I'm just so interested to see how people are actually navigating now, just in terms of human to human.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen a massive shift happening on LinkedIn as well.
Yeah.
And you've spotted that quite early.
Yeah.
What triggered that?
LinkedIn is a very exciting platform. And the reason why is there's two things. The first one is that it's probably the cheapest place to produce content,
Right.
because it is mainly storytelling and mainly copywriting driven, which means you don't need a massive production team. LinkedIn, I mean, TikTok and most of the other platforms are very visual. So you need video, you need images. Like you have to have a lot of thought into it. I think if you are half decent at telling a story, you can take a selfie of yourself on LinkedIn, write a great story, and get 100,000 impressions.
Sure.
You know? And that's interesting because also the context in which people are on LinkedIn for is to connect and to build relationships.
Right.
So I noticed it. Soon when I was still working with Yango. I wanted to kind of build a personal brand and so on and so on. So I made myself a challenge.
Okay.
I decided that I was going to post on LinkedIn twice a day
Wow. Okay.
for 30 days straight. And people were like, some people don't even post once a month.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Now, I'm guilty of that.
I was posting twice a day for 30 days straight.
Sure.
And and to say that my life changed after that is an understatement. to be
Really?
fair. Yeah, because there's two things I learned. One, I learned how to write for LinkedIn, how to tell a story, how to captivate an audience with the hook, the structures, the formatting, who wants to read
And
what.
not many
what-
people look at LinkedIn as like, okay, cool, let me decipher the structure, what works, what doesn't
They
work.
don't.
No.
They think you can just post
Yeah.
and then hope like people see it or something like that. But there's strategy to it,
Mm.
right? But then I also learned that if you want to learn anything, you just have to get the reps out as quickly as possible.
Sure.
Increase your frequency and you'll be able to figure it out. So
Mm.
by posting twice a day on LinkedIn for 30 days, I basically learned what people would learn in a year of posting on LinkedIn, because we would only post once a month.
Sure.
You know? So it gave me so much context. And I saw there was a big opportunity there. So now I have like 10K followers. I'm revamping my LinkedIn strategy now, because I think,
Okay.
because obviously, like every platform, it starts off quite organic. Like the platform will give you organic views nicely. Then they start to pull it back.
But like he's doing too well.
Yeah, everyone, the algorithm starts to be a
Yeah.
bit stingy with views.
Sure.
Because obviously, look, they're there to make money. So they want
Yeah.
you to pay and boost and stuff like that.
And were you running this on the premium account or on the standard account?
No, standard account.
Oh,
I didn't
okay.
pay for anything. And man, the connections, the relationships, the business opportunities I got, and paying clients purely just from LinkedIn. Was
And the
incredible.
strat that you were rolling out there, what did that look like?
The strat was basically, I think there's only 3 ways to get clients, right? I think it's either you're doing outbound, you're saying knocking on doors virtually, whether you're knocking on doors via email, by calling people, you're knocking on doors, posting content, attracting people,
Right.
and then having some kind of offer that kind of like a lead magnet or something like that, right?
Okay.
So the structure was really just posting content, giving something of value to people for free, and then being seen as a specialist in the space,
Right.
and then allowing them to come to you when they need implementation.
You said something very important there. You touched on value.
Yeah.
So how did you assess what they find as valuable? Because everybody's got a different version of what they see as value,
Yeah.
right?
Here's the secret. I gave all my best information away for free.
Sure.
Something that everything that I learned that I thought, wow, this changed my life, or this helped me a lot, I packaged into a post and gave it away for free.
Sure.
Do this.
So did you do that pre-prep first before you actually rolled out? Or did you just go day by day
Day by day.
in reflection as to what
Do you
hit
know
you?
how hard it is to post twice a day on LinkedIn? But people you run out of stuff too.
Yeah.
To post about. So anything that I was learning, like for example, I would have a conversation with you,
Yeah.
and you would say something very interesting, and I'll be like, man, that changed me. I will go home, write it in my diary, and then pre-package it and say, this is what I learned from this conversation, with the really, really like valuable insight. And I think that's the key focus, like you were saying, value. Like really, if you look at the best brands and people that have managed to kind of take over the internet, they find a way to give away their best information for free. And I think the world kind of rewards you for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you just flipped the script there in terms of when you do that and you give that value away for free, you actually attract versus chasing.
Absolutely.
So you focus on the distribution, you
Yeah.
identified LinkedIn, you distributed key articles and key points that resonated with you. And you thought, if it resonates with me and provides impact and value to
It's
me,
going to help someone else for
it's
sure.
gonna help someone else.
For sure.
And then what was that response? Like, would they actually comment back? Would they DM you? How did you find that ratio?
Multiple responses, actually.
Yeah.
So usually it was, in the comments would be like, oh, this is great. DMs are coming in. And obviously, and also, and I think from a marketing perspective, you would understand this. It's also building a funnel almost.
Yeah.
Giving them a place to land. So if someone watches your content or sees a post or something interesting, where do they land after that? Where can they find out more? Where can they get some context? So obviously I had to book a call with me.
Okay, so use it as a funnel as well.
Obviously. Like my
And
page was designed
was
as a
that
funnel.
from the get-go?
No, it wasn't from the get-go.
Okay.
It wasn't from the get-go. Then after a while, I started to realize I was getting quite a bit of attention.
Right.
Getting like I think there's posts where I have like 300,000 impressions or
Sure.
something like that, 100.
And on LinkedIn, that's like an
200
easy
reshares,
3
bro.
mil, 4 mil.
Yeah.
If you put it in context of socials.
Yeah, because I mean, LinkedIn only has like I think 300 million people, something like that. So
Sure.
you get it's valuable retention.
So
yeah,
again, you found the quality over quantity there.
I think it's always about quality over quantity. I think that's what it is. But then it's tough. Being honest, it's tough because you get to a point where you start to enjoy the 100,000 impressions. So you're trying to say, how can I make something go viral?
Okay.
How can I get a lot of likes? How can I do this?
And did you find that you were able to reverse engineer?
To some regard, yes.
Okay.
But the algorithms are always changing in every platform.
Yeah.
But I think the one thing that never changes is a community that actually loves you and cares about what you think. So now my LinkedIn strategy is a lot less chasing impressions and
For sure.
and actually providing a space for certain people who think and want to learn about networking, attracting more people to their lives and their business, creating a safe space for them to kind of like get some value and connect with each other. So probably launch a community and newsletter and stuff like that soon. But I
You think you're going to bring that to an in-person situation
Yes, 100%, 110%.
this year?
We have to. Yeah, hopefully we'll do with a podcast like this. You know?
Okay.
Yeah,
like
get some people,
like that.
in. Yeah.
Segueing into tech and AI,
Yeah.
how have you found that to actually help your business?
What am I doing with tech and AI? I think obviously technology is, you and I know, technology is, I think it's the key piece of leverage in this world.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's the one thing that you can use to service millions of people. One product that can service millions of people. There's not many products that you can do that. So I'm definitely building some tech within my business. AI, interestingly enough, definitely helped me with LinkedIn, creating content, and then we also use copywriters. So it's just kind of like helping the copywriters speed up their process. You still need to know what a good product is in order to use that. So those are the type of things that I'm kind of looking at. But I'm interested for you. How has AI and tech impacted the agency life?
I think for us as an agency, we use it across the board, whether it's from your research, from your data. I mean, we're really segmenting a lot of data on the back end, even in just a normal piece of content.
Yeah.
It's the retention, it's the hook, it's the visual hook, looking at what colors worked, what text worked, what call to action worked.
So an AI helps you be able to get all that information? Yeah. Really?
100%. Obviously, being the leading partner for TikTok in Sub-Saharan Africa, there's a lot of data that we can see.
Get access to, yeah.
Exactly. So again, looking at patterns of consumer behavior, is this a once-off? Is this a repetitive signal that we're seeing? And you're really able to gauge the trend over there. And then sometimes it's a trend that's going to come and that's going to be a viral trend. And then sometimes you've got a trend that's going to be a little bit more long-term.
Gotcha.
So you can decide where you're going to invest in. But again, it's understanding where to go, how to move, why to move.
So would you say that you guys are not completely, but focus quite a lot on data? Like, are you 100%. Putting the hook out there? I mean, putting the hook and the bait out there, seeing what sticks, reeling it in, and then analyzing it, and then building the strategy from there.
For sure. I think anybody that's just going to be putting one piece of content out there, if you're running a campaign and you're going with one set creative, I do think that is a naive approach to take in 2025, especially if you're going to try and run that at scale. So you're really going to need to look at the data, because creativity is subjective. And again, going back to what we spoke about earlier, you're going to need to see who is for each piece of content that you're putting out, what demographic is responding, why they're responding.
And to what,
Exactly. So actually looking at the retention, looking at where that click happened, if there was conversion, if there was retention but no conversion, if there was conversion and ended at the abandoned cart.
Yeah,
you need to then look at all of those touch points. So the data is going to guide you in terms of what to optimize and what to tweak. And then you can move from there.
That's awesome. Yeah. So is there anything about AI that scares you?
Not necessarily.
Really?
Not necessarily. I'll tell you why. I still think that we're in a phase right now where we're trying to understand and use AI to streamline and optimize processes. AI still needs the input from a human as we sit here today.
Yeah.
But
the question is for how long, right?
Exactly. But again, are we going to allow the technology or the machines to then do work for us? I think that's where it gets blurry.
Yeah.
So the moment you aren't inputting and you're relying on the machine or the technology to input for you, you then aren't thinking, which for me comes back to critical thinking.
Yeah.
And if you aren't critically thinking about what to do, how to do, why to do it, and reverse engineering, then I think we've got a bigger problem at hand.
Yeah, fair enough.
Then we need to address laziness.
Yeah.
As opposed to AI pushing into the space.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
You know?
Yeah, it's a fascinating one, because I think once, like you were saying, if we get to the point where we're absolutely lazy and we let AI do everything, what's left, right? What will we be spending our time on, and what will capture our interest? Because I think we have to be doing something.
Yeah.
Right? So I think AI is just going to be like a really sharp knife for a good chef. You know,
no, for sure.
Just allow them to just operate at a whole nother level.
I think if you look at countries like we just came back from China, 2 months ago, and if you look at how efficient,
what's happening there?
If you look at how efficient they are, I mean, for example, our Mr. D Uber Eats.
Yeah.
We were saying in a hotel that nobody brought the food up. They bring it to the front of the hotel. They put it into this robot, goes with the PIN code. The robot goes up, automatically goes up into the room, selects the lift, the floor number you're on, goes up, goes out of that. And everybody operates like it's normal,
Yeah.
right? Gets to your door, your phone vibrates. You then open the door, you punch in the code, it opens, you take your food or your parcel out, you punch the code back in, it closes its lid, and it goes back off.
Tell me, so from you as a consumer, was that a better experience than having a human do that for you?
Seamless.
It's better.
I didn't have to speak to anybody. Again, I'm in a hotel, so I'm not dressed to go out. I'm dressed to be in the hotel. Right, I don't necessarily want to see anybody. I don't want to talk to anybody. Just bring me my package so that I can eat, please, and I can go to sleep after that.
Yeah.
So again, I think there's definitely use cases for that. Another thing we saw from the hotel delivery, from the hotel window, was the drone delivery. Like, they think it's a thing in movies. No, they're delivering packages with drones.
Yeah.
There's designated areas, and you see helicopters flying across from building to building all the time because like actual helicopters transporting people. Because it's quicker to fly from building to building than to go down 120 floors, take a car, and then go back up.
Hectic! I didn't know that.
Yeah, they arrive for breakfast, and you'll see there's like influx.
So if I have a meeting somewhere, I just get the heli from building to building.
100%.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So again, they're just pushing efficiency.
Yeah.
The barista wasn't a human downstairs at the hotel; it was a robot. So it had arms. You go in again with Alipay. You scan. You don't speak to anybody.
Yeah.
You scan, and within a minute and a half, you've got your matcha, you've got your latte, you've got your cappuccino.
Yeah, it's hectic.
It's even doing the milk.
So now if the baristas, is it doing the milk like...
Genuinely, like, B-roll that clip in here, B-roll the clip in here.
The way you go, everything.
Literally.
It's incredible. Yeah. So if the barista's a robot, where am I going to find humans then, bro? Like,
and that's the thing. So
the average interaction with the human,
for sure.
Like, where am I going to get that?
So while we're going to this tech-centric era that we're living in now, and everything's technology, we are going to be craving human connection more than ever.
That's true.
So now brands have to look at it like, how do they create these experiences? And that's why we see the surge of run clubs, the surge of coffee raves. I mean, now they're moving away from alcohol.
Yeah.
Right? Not to say that alcohol doesn't have a space.
Yeah.
But again, people are being more informed of their health, their wellness, their fitness, etc. So now you're having the wellness and health trend, which is probably going to carry on for the next 5 to 10 years easily. People are focusing on electrolytes, water intake, what they're eating. Is it grass-fed? Is it natural? What are the effects it's having? Now you've got energy drinks, which is not energy drinks. It's what do you call it? It's super booster brain drinks, which is supposed to help you focus. So if you look at a brand like Newtonic, as well, also got 2 creators behind it.
Isn't? Yeah. They're the ones driving the strategy, driving the content and stuff like that.
Driving the brand awareness and the campaigns of the brand.
Okay.
But again, the strategist behind that, he's a sharp guy. He's done this a couple of times. So looking at that again, it's interesting to see how people are moving. So we are going to crave human connection. We're gonna crave a space to belong.
Yeah.
A space that we feel that is our space. So you're seeing a lot more clubs. Look at the run clubs.
Yeah.
Right. So even from an entrepreneur side, looking at the masterminds.
Yeah.
People are going away to invest in themselves for their mental health, their physical health, their financial freedom, and even the Gen Zs. The Gen Zs will tell you straight, I'm going for a mental health walk break.
Yeah, it's feeling. Yeah. I think it's important, man. I think it's understanding exactly where we are right now, and I think we're on that trend as well. I do think actual in-person communities is gonna be bring the same value as having like 1 million followers was back in the day.
For sure.
People that sitting in a place that you can monetize in multiple ways, and I think we spoke about this the last time, but how companies can integrate to that space and provide a safe space for them to kind of exist is important. But from you now with your company and your focus on creators, right? I think creators are going to play a big role in that.
Yeah.
I think it's first going to happen for creators.
Right.
Then logos. And by I mean logos, I mean companies with existing brand presence and so on and so on. But I think human beings are going to drive the shift. So what do you guys see from the creator economy space that's driving the shift, and how are brands intrigued to participate, I guess? For
sure. I think brands are definitely starting to understand that from what we're seeing right now, the big brands in the country, they are moving towards people that have community. And separating community versus audience, right?
How do you tell the difference? How do you know if someone has a community versus audience? Is it engagement?
You can see by the sentiment. It's very easy. So if you look at let's just say I'm the creator,
Yeah.
or I'm the influencer, right? And also not getting confused with the creator versus the influencer.
Yeah.
We can dive into that. That's a whole hour conversation. But again, I am the influencer, or I'm the creator online. I'm posting a piece of content, right? Are people just liking the post and just sharing the post, or are people actually engaging with relevant feedback on that post, right? So it's a two-way conversation. If the creator or influencer is able to stimulate two-way conversation while adding value, you'll see that they've got a sense of community there.
Got you.
Right?
Got you.
It's the creators then seeing their audience and they seeing their community rather, and they feel heard and seen. Versus me just putting a post out there, people just liking it, 5-10 comments, boom, carry on with their lives. All right. It's the difference of when you do this and when you do that, and then you tap to read more.
I got you. And I think
And then you'll see the distribution also looks different.
Really?
Yeah. Because now you've got channels, you've got private Instagram groups, you've got private
That's true.
WhatsApp channels.
That's true.
So
That's
again,
true.
the sense of community is there. They've got their own lingo that they have internally that the rest of the public don't know about.
They
So
can,
there's
they can
these small
almost
telltale
exist.
signs.
They can almost exist on their own without you. You're like the custodian, right? Like
Right.
you're kind of there to guide them, but they kind of do their own thing,
Yes.
the community. And that's interesting you say that, because recently I was speaking to my team and regarding like my content and what I'm posting on social media, whether it's LinkedIn or Instagram or whatever, the number one metric we're measuring is how many in-depth comments we get.
Sure.
Conversation, not just a hey, this is great, but in depth. Oh, this was good because of this. I love this. Speaking, someone actually giving their opinion on something, measuring that, because I think that shows how much you're actually resonating with people. Because if someone would take 3 minutes, 4 minutes out their day to actually leave a heartful comment on your content, it means you've done something right, and you're building into it.
And you've sparked that conversation with your community then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct.
So I definitely think that's where we're moving towards. Brands are starting to understand that, and they are spending more and more money at the with the creators and the influencers that are really have a good understanding and have put it and that have put in the work already. So they're not looking to build necessarily now with up and comers, but those who have carved their own path in their own lane. They're like, we see that, we're not quite sure what it is yet, but we know that you have a tribe and an army behind you.
Yeah.
And that's your crew, and your crew will represent you. So that's what we want to tap into. So they're tapping into these micro, I say micro very loosely, but these communities, and they're seeing the power of these communities now.
Yeah.
So
What about the risks? Because I'm sure, look, I'm sure there's a brand out there that's thinking, I could use a creator, whatever, but what happens if that person decides to do ABCD, people getting cancelled left, right, and center, you know?
Sure.
Like, how do you navigate those risks? Is it kind of just betting on a horse that you kind of trust, or like what? Like I'm just trying to be in the brand's position and be like, bro, how am I going to do this?
Yeah.
How am I going to
So I think again, it's working with the creator on a one-off approach. A lot of the creators we work with, we don't necessarily do one-off campaigns.
Yeah.
We're looking for sustainability and long-term growth.
I prefer that.
So again, the strategy is completely different.
Yeah.
Right? And you get some people chasing the bag and they're going to do a one-off campaign. And then you get other creators that will turn the bag down based on longevity and what is it, the effect it has on their community, what's the effect it has on their personal brand and the value for the business. So if you look at that, you select a creator and then turn that creator into ambassador. So now they're a spokesperson, an extension of the brand. Then you can really have that brand value and equity driven back into it.
Got you.
So change the strat completely. And there's different functions for each of these creators across the different tiers as well.
Yeah. No, I think, in some regards, I guess you just have to manage the risk, right? You have to kind of like.
But that's why you're going with legal, you know?
Yeah.
It's a mutually beneficial understanding of what we need to do. There's long-term commitment into it, and you have clear scope of what's happening with the creator or the brand for the year.
Yeah.
So you play open cards. This is our marketing plan. This is what we're looking to do. How else can we add value so that we can show up organically? It's not just a pay-to-play. It's not a transaction. So I think a lot of brands are getting it wrong. It's like, I'm going to pay you to do this, CJ, and then you're going to do that, and then I'm expecting 5,000 engagements across save, sends, comments, and story posts, and please make sure that you tag the brand first as the first word in your caption. It's not normal.
Yeah, I get you.
You're asking for something not normal.
Yeah.
And
the community will know that.
Yes.
They'll look at this.
So red flag, first thing, and we're scrolling.
It'll be like, boss, this is not for me, you know?
100%.
Yeah.
Listen, I want to take it over to, we've got a little bit of a live crowd that's built up here over the last couple of minutes.
Yeah.
Let's take it over to them. Any questions that they have?
Yeah, please.
With regard to marketing, culture, brand, tech, AI, anything to that extent?
I'll kick it off. Let me test this quickly. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, hold on. Oh. Okay.
Good morning.
Morning. I think the first thing that really stuck with me now was kind of one looking into the Reece one on the MyBrew app side, and then CJ, you can maybe follow it up after that. It's the same question, but to both of you. How would you say back then AI would have affected your go-to-market for the app, and two, the actual market in terms of, I mean, Reece, with yours would have been retail, food and beverage industry, etc., etc. And then CJ, much of the same with Chomi Bites and the initial Chomi. And then also into ASABs, how quickly we started, because we never had, or AI wasn't at the point at which now you could put a whole business plan into it or get one from it. How do you think it would have influenced market strategy, as well as the time it took to get to where we are now?
Sure.
Such a good question.
Yeah, I think it's a fully loaded one.
Go ahead.
On the app side of things, I think if we had the access to the AI that we do right now, we would have created thousands and thousands of assets to A/B test what's going to work best.
100%.
From a content creation perspective, for sure. Rolling out, I mean, because we service basically what the app did, it found food, drinks, retail, entertainment specials based on your location. So looking at those variables, looking at the different audience segments, yes, we had a lot of university students using it, and as well as a lot of moms using it because we found that they love specials, and we call them the night owls. Certain people love to shop at night between 10 o'clock and 12 o'clock. And that's what they'd actually convert. So we'd create a bunch of different assets speaking to those different demographics and actually test the copy, the hooks, the content duration from a 3-second to a 6-second, a 9-second, 11-second. And really get that granular and then roll it out at scale. We'll also probably build different personas and different AI characters to speak to these people. Create an online but offline community as well. Definitely host curated events based on the data that we'd get back. From a paid media side, run programmatic, but programmatic with some generated content as well.
Okay.
And then bring in humans to actually drive that as well.
Yeah.
It would be a whole different ballgame.
Yeah, I think it would have changed everything for me, to be fair. Yeah, I think I would have done exactly the same thing. Instead of, before even building any type of tech, I would have kind of built a very small MVP just to test the business model.
Yeah.
To test, one, what are people willing to pay for? Who's the customer audience?
I mean, imagine building your platform on Lovable.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have to put out
I
the
wouldn't have
cash.
to do anything, bro. It would actually, I think probably if AI existed the way it did today, I think maybe there was a chance Chomi Bites would have been, or the previous Chomi would have actually worked out.
Yeah.
It's just that back then it was so expensive to build tech, bro. You had like developer salaries are no joke.
Crazy.
You know,
I mean, when we say back then, guys, the Instagram logo was pop it over here, was the old brown
yes.
and what was the flat icon. Like that's when we say back then. That's what was out there. It was Pinterest, it was WhatsApp, it was the old Instagram logo.
Facebook was there.
Facebook was there, but that's what we used.
Yeah, so I think even for us, we were smart about it, luckily, in the sense of when we started Chomi Bites, because in Namibia, no one bought anything online.
Yeah.
No one. Like, if you ask anyone, do you know how to shop online? There was no reason to. So what we did is, instead of like building a website and an app in the beginning, we did a Facebook Messenger bot.
Right.
So we saw that everyone, the most downloaded app in Namibia was Facebook. So I was like, okay, how do we get into everyone's pockets without having to have them download anything?
Right.
So from get-go, everyone already had access to us because it was a messenger bot. So you would just find our page, message us, and luckily that was available, you know? And then from there, we built like a website.
And low data consumption as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That was also a very big point. Back then, you were fighting for data.
Data was expensive.
Data was expensive. I think now, in general, everyone kind of has access to data, and it's okay. But it was a whole different ballgame. But look, if you're working on an app or something interesting, Reece just gave you the entire strategy right now, right? And
high level.
High level in terms of what you should be doing. I think you should be, before doing any type of build, test the model in the sense of the community.
For sure.
Put it out there. Try and see what are people willing to pay for. Who's the audience? What do they need?
I mean, now we're so lucky to actually have tools that we can actually assess we can assess the landscape. How big is the landscape? What is the average consumer spending? Where they're spending it? Where do they stay? What IP address are they on? What netbooks are they using? All these type of things that you can really get granular with, and you can start to build different profiles around your consumer. And that's really going to dictate where the business is going to go, because it's not going to be based on assumption, but rather the data.
Absolutely.
And then you can obviously couple that with some creative and then start testing.
Absolutely. Yeah.
100%.
Shay, does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Happy? Anyone else?
We'll take one more.
So something that really interested me while listening to you was speaking about AI and how people are going to crave more and more human connection as time goes on. How do you see that playing out from a digital perspective? I think from an event side, it's quite obvious, of course, there's going to be more running clubs, more things where we see each other. But on digital, how does that authenticity and that human aspect carry through from your perspective, both of you?
Such a good one. Do you have an answer?
We're going to start to value small things, right? So from a digital perspective, it's the difference if you DM me or you respond to one of my Instagram posts or TikToks, etc., and you reply with a DM. It's the difference between me texting the response and me sending a voice note saying, "Hey, Lucian, thanks for this message, da 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 da." We're going to see the value of that increase exponentially. And then that's going to compound across different platforms. So we even looking to incorporate this in terms of strategies for rolling out on digital. Give you an example. I spoke to an entrepreneur creator about this the other day. Creating the problem to solve the problem, right? So having the brand come in to actually solve the problem, but the creator would create the problem. So you're actually creating the demand for the brand to come in to say, hey, we can actually fix that. And then having the community saying, okay, cool, how do we do this? And taking them along on their journey. So again, you're now going to make your community feel seen. You're going to make your community feel heard. And you're going to have a natural organic implementation integration with the brand, which is then going to live through, and that can live in a part series as well. So now you're going to be manufacturing these things, but sometimes it's going to happen organically. But it's, do you have the structure in place to actually roll that out and then distribute accordingly? So I think we're going to place more value on this because, it's the difference. It's a small difference, but the impact of it's going to be major. It's the same thing as if you commented on one of my posts and all of a sudden we out at dinner because of the impact that your comment had. Maybe it changed my perspective, or my view on certain things. And I actually want to find out more. It's getting to that qualitative over quantitative impact. And I think that's where we're going to move more and more and more towards. We're not going to chase 500,000 views anymore, etc. We're going to chase the impact that we're able to have on a person holistically on digital. Yeah.
I think I completely agree. And I think it's going to turn into something I call the value of human error. Right. I think we're going to start to appreciate the humanity in content and everything. So when something isn't so perfect, when I'm recording a video by myself and I'm drinking tea and it spills a little bit and I see it on my shirt, that video I think probably has a higher chance of going viral than something that's absolutely perfect.
100%.
So I think we're going to start to see like humanity and the value of human error. If there's any like margin for error and you can see that error is associated to being human and humanity, I think that's what we're going to crave and that's what we're going to love. So people that are real, raw, and brave enough to make mistakes, I think are the people that are going to stand out on social media and platforms.
And I think people also need to start understanding the context of content. A lot of them are like, oh no, be authentic, be yourself. That doesn't mean replicate somebody else. CJ's personality is completely different to mine. And if we had to replicate each other, everybody ends up looking the same.
Correct.
So when they say be authentic, you have to do the introspection first. You don't find your authenticity by looking at others. You need to go do the inner work. Find out what is CJ like, what is CJ not like, what really moves the needle, what hits you, what doesn't, what are you passionate about. And then from there, you're going to be able to start carving your own path. So I think that's where we're going towards.
That's a good answer. I like that.
I have one question.
Okay,
Let's go.
We'll take it.
Reece, this one's for you. I resonated a lot with what you said around seeing that first red flag where clients say, hey, can you please put my tag in the beginning of the caption and all that? What's one thing that you say to them to bring them back to earth or to align them with your thinking?
generally what I like to do is I like to flip the script on them, and put them in the position of the consumer or their audience that they're trying to speak to, right?
Yeah.
Because inherently, if I am there, if I understand your objectives, and then you're going to ask, what is the objective of putting the tag there? So you really have to get to that first, and then you're going to try and understand their thinking. So put it out there. Thank you for your feedback. You need to make them feel seen and heard, first of all, right? We're not fighting against each other. We're on the same team collectively. So let's just level that playing field off the get-go. Then what is the objective of moving that handle from the first to maybe the third or fourth word? Let's start to understand their thinking, and then they're going to say, well, we want a brand awareness straight off the bat. Okay, but if we're doing a collaborative post, your name is already going to be there on the top right.
Yeah.
So it's showing up on your audience feed and it's showing up on our audience feed. So already we solve that problem.
Yeah.
And then you're really going to get to an understanding of what the real objective is. And then if they're happy with that, they're like, okay, cool, that solves that problem. Again, how else should we do it? You know, we can, if it's going to live in a collaborative feed, the name is also going to be there on the caption. So we need to actually get to the reasoning and the thinking behind what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
But again, I think it's super important to try and level that playing field to make sure that you're on the same side and they know that you are on their side. You're not competing against them.
Yeah. That was good. That was a good answer, I think. Reece is the master of this stuff. So I'm just saying, I'm just here for the ride.
I just want to close. I want to close off with one question. I think you've met a lot of interesting people.
Yeah.
Over the last, I'd say 3-4 years.
Yeah.
And even during COVID, you weren't sitting still. You were busy.
Cooking,
you know.
bro.
So, but again, I think that COVID also allowed that time for you to go into your silo and really get into that. Yeah. But one of the things that I'm really fascinated about is high net worth individuals and how they spend their money. And you've seemed to really unlock a different way of what they spend their money on and how quickly they'll spend their money on. What have you found to be that? Have you found something that is a common denominator across them?
Look, so something I'm still trying to master, to be honest. But part of the reasons why I left Namibia last year to kind of like travel and be in London, Dubai, and all these places was specifically to learn high ticket sales.
Right.
I really wanted to learn how to sell something for 300, 500, 600,000 rand. You know, one thing. And what's the state of mind? What do you need to know, and so on and so on. And so far, what I've come to, I think the number one thing that has helped me understand that market is the idea of proximity. And sometimes it matters more in the room that you're in versus what's happening inside, in the sense of like the room will give the person everything they need to know in order to feel comfortable in order to make the sale, right?
Okay.
So the context would be meeting someone in a space where we have a common interest, like I said, something like Formula One or watches or something like that, right? And the proximity and the fact that I'm meeting them in Dubai at the Ritz in the right context,
Right.
they will feel more comfortable to buy a $300,000, $400,000 watch from me.
The environment's correct.
The environment
Right.
is everything. It's a proximity to their world and understanding where they're at, you know?
So you meeting them where they're at.
You have to meet them with, because there's certain things that they value.
Right.
And there's this idea that the frame says more about the painting than anything else.
Sure.
You know, because I mean, if you take something and put it in a white room, in a glass cabinet, and it can be something minuscule. It can be like, take a toothpick, put it on a beautiful stand, a glass over it or whatever, and then put a nice name on it, like first toothpick ever created or something like that.
Right.
In a white room, people marvel over it and be like, wow. It already communicates the value of the toothpick. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm starting to realize.
Sure.
That it's the frame that you use. And sometimes doing something ridiculous, like having a meeting or flying all the way to Dubai for something or doing that, says everything you need to know about the kind of person that I'm doing business with.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean?
Major.
Rather than your pitch or all that kind of stuff. So I spend quite a bit of money and time to make sure that I get the framing right and the proximity right, because it's us sitting down having coffee here, and we could do it in town. We could do it somewhere else. Yeah, sure. But if we do it in Sea Point, in Camps Bay, whatever, and have that specific conversation, that frame will communicate more about the worth of the product, the value,
Yeah.
and everything, then
You're not talking
then
price. You're
that-
talking straight value then.
Yeah,
Yeah. Value to that person.
yeah. And
Love
also,
that.
but also, like I mentioned, I think interest. I've shifted my interest to things that I generally like, which is watches, Formula One, and so on. And these are things that my, I guess, target audience in that aspect kind of values as well.
Love
So
that.
I want to be associated there and be seen there, and makes a big difference.
Love that.
Yeah.
That wraps up the first episode.
Thanks, man.
Dude, the time flew.
Yeah, this was
I don't know
great.
how long we
Reece and
were.
I can talk for 24 hours. Thank you to the
100%.
audience. It's always nice
Yeah.
having you guys here. Yeah,
Next one, I think, let us know down below in the comment section after this drops. You're going to be traveling to Brazil.
I'm be traveling to Brazil for a little bit.
Yeah.
But obviously I'll be back. I can't miss our sessions.
No,
So
100%.
yeah, I'm excited for it. Yeah, please, as Reece said, let us know in the comments which part particularly kind of resonate with you, and if you have any questions. If
Yeah.
you're running a business, if you're like a CMO of a company, or you're about to launch an app or anything like that, and you have a specific question around like marketing,
Yeah.
tech or something, and
The
you want
creator economy,
creative economy, yes,
brands, ad agencies, etc. Everything relevant to the creative space. I think let us know and we'll unpack that. What campaigns you're really impressed by, how they're rolled out from a creative perspective, paid perspective, AR, VR, AI, augmented
Everything.
reality, blockchain, everything. Let us
Everything.
know and then we'll unpack it. We look forward to
if
seeing you.
And if you leave a really, really good comment, like a really like heartfelt comment, we might just unpack that entire case study here on the
Yeah.
podcast, and you basically get a free consultation or like how to execute something.
I like
I'd
that.
love that. Like if I was someone that was like launching a new business
Yeah.
and being able to ask a question and then get guys like us to get like full scope of what you would do for point A to point B,
100%.
that would help me a lot. So we might just do that for you if you leave a great comment.
Boom. Connect with us. LinkedIn.
Yeah, I'm LinkedIn, Instagram, wherever, CJ the Connect,
There we go. We'll see you guys in the next one.
Thanks, guys. Ciao.
Cheers.